Warning. Hashtag DDP Live is for an adult audience. Hashtag DDP Live may contain material that may be unsuitable for sensitive ears. If you are easily offended, run to your panic room now. Listener discretion is highly advised.
Thank you. Please come again.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are tonight's entertainment.
Welcome back to the Hashtag DDP Live here in the Longbox.FM studios, brought to you, of course, as always, by Riley's Brewing and, of course, Ginza Asian Bistro. Go check them out. Palm and Knees, they hook it up. They do deliver everything on their menu. For you lazy asses out there who, like me, want to get whatever you can food-wise when you've had a little too much drink, hit up Ginza. That's how they do. So anyways, tonight we're doing our continuing our series here, the Hashtag DDP Live, doing it up with local bands, putting the focus on what's most important here for a thriving music scene, the local bands. We're going a little deeper than our normal setup here. We've reached out to down south, the South Valley, Visalia, for just 45 minutes away, but it's long enough for a Fresno. We got the band Call Me James, who we got to check out just a couple weeks ago at the Stoneshiver show, and we had them on. We talked all about that. Got the guys in the studio here today. What's up, guys?
How's it going?
Hey.
What's up?
So we got going around the table. We got the lead man here, Richard Hendricks. You know him from Silicon Valley. He's also the lead singer of Call Me James. Actually, Branden Reese, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm making sure I'm getting all my names right. That's the one thing I always fail on every time I do the show. I will butcher the crap out of your names. My bad. And the bass player sitting here, it's Josh. What's up, man?
What's up?
Now, don't be afraid to get up on that mic.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, the loud and rowdy one will be the drummer, of course, Chris. Namesake. I love it. How you doing, man?
Good. How you doing?
Doing good. Apparently I got phone calls. So let's talk about you guys. The most important thing here, and what we want to do with this whole series, is we want to get to know not only the band, make the audience like you guys enough to seek you out, to fall in love with your music. And close to home, we already have that. Seeing your guys' performance out at Strummers, the fiance, Miss Cotty, was all about you guys, and had nothing but positive things to say. So, of course, you guys were the next one on the line to get in here and get this treatment done. So I want to talk to you guys about you, and I guess we'll start with, from what I've read from your Facebook, Branden, you are kind of in a sense, the originator, and I know it's not fully true, but I'll let you go ahead and explain that.
Well, Call Me James used to be my kind of side project while I was in another band. And so I worked on that by myself for a while, and then, about a little over a year ago, I actually decided to get serious about it and start gigging with a band, and so I asked Chris to join forces with me. And since then, we've had the group.
Well, a necessity for any kind of band, you want a drummer.
Yeah.
Unless you got the keyboards and all the fancy synth stuff and you just go total Robert DeLong on it, you got to have the back end of there. So, Chris, you joined up with the band. And now, again, this is all current, Call Me James, and who you guys are. So, you guys playing along, getting to know each other, and you brought in the low end, Josh, to the mix, right?
Yep. Eventually, he got to us.
Now, real quick, one of the struggles I could see, bands in general struggle. They have a hard time, staying friends. They just can't get along. You guys have got a band that has a member who lives 45 minutes away from practice site. How do you guys manage to keep that going without? Do you guys ever practice, or is he reliable?
Do we ever practice?
Is the bass player reliable? Can he come out?
Oh yeah, he's the earliest one to practice, and rehearsals at my house.
He's always prepared.
Well, that's a good thing to have in a band. So when it comes to bands and music and this day and age and how things are done, I'm old, so I come from a time when you had rap, you had rock, you had country, you had pop. Everything was a defined genre. and not so much anymore these days. Everything's kind of been put in the blender. So for you guys, to an audience, how would you describe your sound in the way you want to describe it and the way that you could more simplify it?
Oh man, it's...
They look at me because I always say the same thing. It's like it's kind of a little slogan. It's classic with a modern twist, so we try to keep to kind of this classic sound, if you will, or feel.
It's like Bud Light Lime?
Yeah, maybe. There you go. Yeah, a little twist on it, a little freshening up. So, very modern sound, but at the same time, kind of this old school feel.
All right. Your music, your background. Where does everything come from? Because hanging out with you guys pre-show, you guys don't seem like your lives are ruined and you're all that emo. And as a matter of fact, you're the worst lead singer I've ever met because you're not boastful and all about yourself. You're very shy and into the background, which is unheard of for most lead singers. What is the drive for your guys' music and what you create?
I mean, all my songs come from my own experiences and whatnot, and the fact that I'm able to put those words into music and have people receive it and enjoy it. I mean, that's the real reason why I do it. That's my drive.
Oh, are you the sole writer on everything? Okay, so you bring the music to the table and these guys fill in all the rest. All right, we just diminished the rhythm section back
he's
here.
The color for sure. We're the foundation, the meat, and he's the skin over the top of that. So,
well, every band starts at some point. We know how you guys started to get along. Is it as simple as that? The music creation process is. Branden shows up, you guys are all hanging out, you guys want to hang out and jam, and he says, I got songs, delivers it to you. We teach the bass player what fingers to put on what frets. We got real serious there. But yeah, is it that simple, or do you guys have a more evolved set when you're in the recording studio or your practice room?
Usually when I write a song that I actually want to use, I'll get super excited about it, so I'll be like, I'll record it and send them a copy of it through, Messenger. And I mean, Josh is the first one to get back in contact with me and say, hey, I wrote this part, And then Chris will show up to rehearsal and be like, what new song?
I just play the skins, man.
Yeah, exactly. It always comes back to that. Oh, I can just make something up.
Yeah.
Well, as far as influence and stuff, and the foundation blocks of any musician, there's something that gets you started. So I guess going around the table, we'll start again with Branden. What is it that made you not want to become an athlete and a super jock and actually want to pick up an instrument and try your hand at this art thing called music?
Well, I've been around music my whole life because my parents are both musicians and my mom's a singer. My dad plays bass and piano and guitar and a whole bunch of stuff. So I kind of just picked it up from them, I suppose, and here I am now.
Sounds almost like you have a background like Jack from Fun. You come from a music family, and it's just natural for you to slide into that.
Yeah.
Chris, why the drums, man? Why are you getting into music? What's the pull?
Drums? Why not the drums? No. Basically, I did sports and all that through my whole life, and music. I started up in 5th grade, doing the whole school marching band thing and all that. So my best friend, actually, he's a drummer, and I met him in kindergarten. So that was the first time I ever sat down on a drum kit. I was 5 years old. So went in there, fell in love from that point on, and when I got into school band, that was kind of it from there. So I got into that, then stepped away, was doing just sports, and then graduated college, did all that, got hired at Guitar Center, and then started doing music. So it's kind of my path.
So, by the way, the story of being picked up at Guitar Center,
Yeah.
another thing that I feel is like a thing of the past. musicians actually still gather at music stores and meet each other and talk? Is that a real thing?
Yeah, it still exists. The dying art.
It brings a little bit of hope to my soul there. All right. So, and then, of course, last, our bass player, Josh.
Just like Brendan, my dad plays bass, and they actually used to play together, and that's kind of how we met. We've known each other since we were like 10. And so I've always been around shows and going to my dad's shows, and I picked up the sax in like 6th grade, and I'm actually a sax major at Fresno State right now.
Oh, okay.
So bass is actually kind of a secondary instrument.
So, man, again, just sounds like all of you guys, well, except the drummer, you just hit skins, man.
That's
but
it, man.
Everybody else has got the multiple instruments going.
Yeah, I can pick up other instruments. Music comes naturally for me.
So, are we going to see at some point the three of you guys standing on stage playing instruments? Break it down for a song?
Switch instruments. No.
Just do the musical chairs, like who grabs what, go.
Yeah.
So your performances, things you guys have been doing throughout the Valley. You guys have been together for about 16 months or so, solidified as Call Me James. And in this time, let's get into some of the good and bad as far as performances. Memorable times, things that you've really enjoyed, things that you guys after a show maybe walked away and went, no.
Probably my favorite experience playing a show. Oh man. It was probably Hawthorne Heights. That's probably still my favorite performance. Because we had the big stage, and then 600 people were there. They were all in front of the stage and going crazy, and that was probably my favorite performance.
All right, you guys.
That Strummer show,
Stoneshiver?
Yeah, that was a really good show. I was really feeling it that night too, and the sound on stage at least was pretty good.
It was a smaller crowd than I was thinking it was going to be there, but it was a passionate crowd.
Yeah.
And sometimes I've done those things where you've played in front of 12 people or the two drunks at the bar, but if they're into it, that really makes it better than the 40 people packed in who just don't really care. Yeah. So sometimes the numbers don't matter. Chris.
Yeah, I think there's so many shows that I love. I can always take away something that I enjoyed from each and every show. But I would say, overall, yeah, probably the Hawthorne Heights show was probably one of the best ones, just as far as a memory goes. Because just looking out, you get to see all the faces and stuff, and people are just cheering and happy and excited. But also at the same time, when you're talking about, there's just a couple people rocking out. Fulton 55, we played a show, and there was the bands that were playing there, and then the bandmates girlfriends, and then two other people. So we just brought everybody on stage and just started dancing and having a good time, and that was probably one of my most memorable shows.
Just took over, said, our stage. Come on.
Yeah, everybody's in the band and part of the show, so it was fun.
Well, going through you guys' Facebook page, you have managed to do the list of all the bands you've performed or shared a stage with. And, of course, anyone that's got any name recognition, if you've played with them, you're slapping them on. Absolutely. You want to get a little bit of that cred. Who, though, and I see one here that maybe you guys might jump out on. Who would you love to share a stage with? You're still Visalia band. You're not huge, so I'm not getting you that fantasy at this moment. But you get to share a stage with a big name, or maybe not as big name. Who is it for you guys?
Oh, man. For me, it's Andy Schaaf all the way. We got Paul McCartney, of course. We got all huge ones, but
you can tell you came from a musical family. You don't get young kids these days saying, Beatles, Paul McCartney, I'd love to be jamming with them. It's usually, give me the guy from Five Finger Death Punch, dude. That guy's awesome. So, going deep. I like the references.
So yeah, but Andy Schaaf, his lyricism is my favorite. So being able to share a stage with him would be cool.
Josh?
Have to be Young the Giant for me. I think that style just fits with us so well, and they're a really big inspiration.
Did you see them when they came to Fresno?
No.
Oh man. I will tell you, it was a fantastic show. Just them acoustic, and their lead singer, god damn, he's got pipes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Impressed. I know the fiance was saying they should play at our wedding, and no, we can't afford that. But yeah, great fantasy band, Chris.
I would say like right now there's another trio out there that I came across. They kind of have a funky name. I'm not sure if I always say it right. Biffy Clyro's the name though.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
band.
and just the drummer, just the way he plays and stuff is like, I'm like, oh man, like I can feel everything, every move he's doing. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I would want to do, you know. And just also the lyrics too, very relatable and catchy. They have like a really good rock sound, but then they kind of get pop and funky too. So not a whole lot of boundaries, you know, that contain their sound, and the vocals are killer too. So
This is one of the things it's becoming a struggle here for me in describing you guys. No matter what we heard the Stoneshiver song before the show, and you guys were rocking out, enjoying that, talking about how it was a good rock, heavy, and then your song came on, you're like, oh, these guys suck. But I mean, just your description of what the bands you guys like, you guys are literally all over the place. I'm surprised I'm not hearing like Shania Twain or something, because it would make complete sense with everything
I
you're
play
giving me.
Shania Twain. I'm in a country band too.
There it is. I called it then, apparently. So I want to get into something a little bit deeper. We are going to take a quick break, hit up some of our sponsors real fast. When we come back, we're going to be talking about the local valley scenes, Central Valley, Fresno to Visalia, everywhere you guys are playing. We'll get into everywhere you guys have played, and then the kind of the deeper, more serious as far as the insider scene stuff and the goals that I've always had of trying to talk it out to see anybody's advice that we might listen to make it better. So we'll be chatting about that here in a little bit. This is Dowdy here on Longbox.FM doing the hashtag DDP Live. We'll be right back. Here in the Longbox.FM studios, brought to you, of course, and you saw during the break there, Riley's Brewing, the people that are going to make my wedding fantastic. Talk with Dan. We'll be meeting him in the studio here, I believe, next week with his court battle against High Speed Rail and all the updates on all that. And now with the baked beans in the corner, we've got the band Call Me James. By the way, another thing, an old school thing, you don't see people eating Boston baked beans.
These are my favorite.
Those are the bomb, man. I used to always get in the quarter machines when I was a little kid. Again, you guys are making me feel real old. So one of the top subjects that I wanted to talk about, and I always ask every artist that comes through, and again, this is not about name bashing. And I don't want the negative stuff as far as personally pinning somebody, but the question of artist versus promoter versus venue. And we all know it doesn't matter how old, how long you've been around as a band, you've all had an incident or something, you know, the pay-to-play stuff. A lot of back and forth from every artist about what's right, the right way to do it. And obviously, there's no right way, otherwise it would have been figured out and been consistent with everyone. What are your guys' thoughts? What is a problem in the Central Valley that is limiting growth when it comes to the music scene? And you guys, coming from Visalia, I'm sure you guys have a very different view than most of the Fresno bands that we interview. Chris? You look like you're ready, too. You're like,
No, I'm just like thinking. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I feel like the artists that work here do a pretty good job of, you know, doing their part in supporting other bands and things like that. I know for us personally, it's always been something about us is we show up early, so we try to be the first to show up and, you know, the last to leave. So we try to respect everybody in their craft and what they do. And for me, I always personally like watching other bands because I always feel like I take away something. Like, oh, I can learn something from this guy's playing, or, you know, the way that he performs and things like that. So for me, it's really interesting. It's kind of automatic, I think, for all of us to do that. But I think for the rest of, like, the Valley, I don't know. Like, you know, just show up, you know. If it's your brother that plays the guitar in a band, or, you know, somebody who sings, like, you know, show up once in a while and support them at their show and their craft, you know, because there's a lot that goes into it, you know, rehearsal, sacrificing time. And like you said, a lot of the times, you know, we're struggling musicians, you know, we haven't signed a contract and done this whole deal. So that's kind of just my thing. Just show up, support any way you can.
I'm going to pin you down on this.
Like a post.
What is, in your mind, the worst trait, whether band, promoter, or venue? The hardest, the one thing, if you could just eliminate it from the world. You're Thanos, you've got the gauntlet, you can just make something disappear. I just finished that comic book, by the way, so I'm totally on that right now. If you could do or eliminate one negative trait.
I would just probably say, like, I know for most bands, like, prepping during the show is a hard thing. So communication between venue and the band, like really knowing where you're going to set up, you know, what are the weather conditions like, you know, are you going to have help unloading? Is there a place to park? Things like that. That really helps the show go smoothly. And when promoters and venues work together, with the artists knowing, like, oh, dude, yeah, we show up, unload here, you know, so-and-so band's going to go on, then we backline, move them off. Oh, it makes it sweet. You can focus on performing for the fans that are showing up to watch you. And so for me, I would just say sometimes that always doesn't happen the way we want it to. So I think that's collectively we can all do better on that. Like, as far as venues, promoters, and artists, is just the communication and really solidifying, like, okay, this is the way we're going to throw this show. Let's do it. Let's have a kick-ass time, you know, and have fun doing it. So that's what I would say. Put more effort in the communication.
All right. How about either of you guys?
I think the biggest thing to have in this industry is the drive to do it. Because, I mean, I spend hours every day doing Call Me James stuff, and I treat it like...
By hours, do you mean you, like, sit at the computer and you share Call Me James once every so often?
Like, it's sitting at a computer for an extended amount of time, booking, sending emails, messages of any sort, and...
No, actual business. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, the sarcasm's thick over here.
So, I guess from the artist point of view, I would say just have the drive to be able to sit down and do it, because, you know, it's not all just performance.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess that would, as I said, I was going to pin Chris down. I'm guessing that would kind of be your answer, is bands need to put a little more effort, a little more business, and if they could stop being lazy or sitting around waiting to get famous because they played that one show last week and that should be enough.
Yeah. Because one of the stories that I've heard over and over and over is, as an example, is Nirvana. Everybody thought Nirvana was like an overnight success, but they had, you know, years of doing tours in Europe and everything before the Nevermind album came out, and, you know, they got huge off of that.
And that was a band that didn't want to get huge.
Right. So it's all about how much work you put in it, and, you know, if you put the work behind it, it's going to pay off.
Josh, flip it up a little bit with you. Business. Right way to do a business as a band.
Ooh, right. I leave all the business to Branden.
So that's the first thing. Leave it to somebody else in the band.
I like that. Nice.
Well, I guess you just dodged it. It goes right back to Branden. Right way to do business as a band.
I mean, just be professional like you would at any other job. It's art when it comes down to it, but you have to treat it like it's a business that you're growing, and we've had that kind of view since the start, and Chris and I have been able to push it and extend our boundaries.
I don't know if it's because I've talked a lot with Nolan. I Nolan puts on a show or two every so often, and he's a big fan. He's actually one of the very first guys last December, I think, who brought your name up to me when I was asking about bands. But I've seen you guys involved, New Rock 104. Your name's popped up a lot there. I think you guys did a homegrown not too long ago, a couple months maybe.
Yeah, it wasn't
about a month ago.
Yeah.
It was like a Grizzly Fest prep.
Yeah, I see
thing.
your name pop up. Well, yeah, you part of Grizzly Fest. You're involved with Mike Oz doing stuff. You're doing the Taiga Sequoia Brewing shows. Like your guys' name pops up a lot. So that's a great way to gather attention to start building.
Yeah.
And a lot of bands want that to happen, but they don't put in. So what's the difference between the band who's not on any of those shows and you guys? What is it? Is it the connections you guys are making, or is it just?
Yeah, it's definitely all about who you know. That fact has never changed and it never will change. We're just really good at meeting people, going up and shaking people's hands and getting contact information. So it's.
I see Josh laughing over here. Is this just what you do?
Yeah, that's what Brendan's trying to say. He's not. It just comes naturally to him. He was just born to do it.
Gets right off stage. He goes right to the crowd. Just shake everyone's hand, grab a baby, kiss it.
Yeah. Yes.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Exactly. While Josh and I are usually tearing down. Yeah. That's about how it goes. Yeah.
I'm the first one back to the merch table after we're done playing.
Yeah, because we want to make sure that people that show up, like, we truly appreciate one person, 100 people being there, however many people there that are there. So we have Brendan always run back to the merch booth and thank people and talk to them and what they do and stuff too. So, while we tear down.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know where I was going to go from that.
We love people.
The promoter side. And I know I've been asked, like I'm unfairly going after promoters. And I think that's come from some promoters that probably have earned that reputation. Again, not calling anybody out, but when they hear me talk about this stuff, they feel like it's personalized to them, and maybe because maybe they're not so good. But I do know a few good promoters in town. I know Art Silva has been around for a long time. If he sucked, I know he's the butt of a lot of comments, negative comments. And if he was this bad, he wouldn't be promoting in Fresno still. Nolan Davis is somebody, Rad Music, who not only has he been an up-and-comer, he's been doing things like, I don't know if you guys were out at his musicians workshop, where he brought in a bunch of promoters and a bunch of bigger names to a record shop and sat and did a seminar for free for anybody who wanted to show up. So, I mean, the kid's got drive. He's going after it. I question his love of EDM, but everything else, he's just amazing. Do you guys tend to find yourself with promoters such as, like who do you work with? Who do you like to be with? And why?
We like working with everybody. We're not really picky on.
Oh, you politician!
No.
We're doing a show in East Side LA coming up, so we work around the clock with everybody we can. I think
So you guys haven't had a true bad experience?
No, never. We've always just been so good at handling ourselves and the business we do. We've always just been so on top of it. I think that.
Would this be part of you guys being South Valley? Maybe you're outside the stink or something?
Right. I think we try to, especially when we go outside of the valley and play, a little bit of us plays with that passion and drive. Like, we're representing our hometown at the same time. At least for me personally, I think we all kind of do that.
All right. Again, my brain farts badly here tonight. Too much partying the night before. You've played throughout, you've mentioned, not on this interview, but Stockton, Fresno, obviously Visalia, East LA apparently is happening. Are you guys working on trying to spread out now? Or is this a current thing, or is it just developing naturally?
I mean, we always try to get out of the valley just to, get out into new ears across the West Coast. It's it's kind of come naturally and also by force at the same time. Because if I feel like if we didn't treat the band like we did for the first half year or so, where I feel like we were gigging like 3 nights a week, all over Fresno and Visalia and wherever else, that we could get a show. And we really, got on the grind, and then now we're able to spread out more, and that's, with the following we've gathered, we're able to kind of...
Well, summer's coming up. Has there been any talk of trying to do a tour, or is that still too early for you guys?
We're kind of sort of in a small one at the moment. We've got a few dates lined up. We have May 19th in Bakersfield at B Riders, the 23rd in San Luis Obispo at Frog and Peach Pub. Then we got June 14th, that's East Hollywood. Then 16th in Sacramento at the Colony. June 17th at Cellar Door in Visalia. And yeah.
And that's it for now.
If you guys could put together a lineup, the concert you want to do, Fresno, Visalia, don't care where. Line up, though, local bands. Who would you pick?
Bands.
Who would you like to share your stage with? You can just handpick, let's say, 4 of them.
I would definitely want to have Seiji on that
Seiji's
bill
bomb.
for sure.
Seiji-
When we played at Grizzly Fest, like, it was just like extreme hype. Like you can't deny.
He tore it up.
Yeah.
He actually does all of my intro music. Gotten to talk to
nice.
Branden, know him. We hung out at that workshop thing, and he actually took me to his car. He's all, here, I got something. You want to hear it? No one's heard it yet. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Let's do that. That's a guy, though, he should be coming in here soon. And we had talked about some ideas that didn't quite work out the way we wanted to. We were going to do a kidnapping for fun. But, I mean, that's a guy who definitely has that. Like, you just sense it when you're around him. Yeah. You look at him and you think, okay, so who's this white boy, Clovis, stoner kid? And the dude just oozes passion and excitement and just goes for it. So, yeah, he's someone that's hard not to like when you're around.
Yeah, I can appreciate that.
So, Seiji's on deck. Who else do we got?
Werebear. I love those guys.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Those are our boys. And girl.
Yeah.
Werebear hit my top 10 on New Rock.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
I
like
had to
Werebear.
throw in some local bands, and that was one. It was like that album, the new one, Honey. There's something. I mean, again, not my style of music normally, but there is an immediate attachment. The first chord hits, you're like, all right, we'll do this. Let's go.
They're so fun too live. Yeah. I would have to add in Mary Denise from
Oh,
Visalia,
yeah,
Mary Definitely.
of course.
Always.
Great friends, really fun to be
Yeah.
around.
And then the faculty for sure. Those are our boys over there in the faculty as well. They were on Grizzly Fest with us as well. So I think that would be a pretty killer lineup. Have us all on a show.
Well, funny thing, you guys have won the opportunity. We're going to put this show together. No, I'm just call up Nolan.
Yeah.
He'll make it happen. Just give him a
Do
line and go,
this.
make this happen, dude. And put some EDM on all of a sudden, and he'll be driven and going. I do want to talk. We kind of skipped in the very beginning. We were talking about your music, your styling, how you put it together. Lyrics, though, always important. Gets the panties excited. So, lyrics and drive. What's the story you tell? Where does it come from? This is now the personal, like, you don't want to talk, I can tell, but you're going to have to tell us now.
He's all,
Damn it.
Well, I actually told somebody who asked me about my lyrics, and I just told him, if you know the words to my songs, then you know who I am, because all my songs are just stories from my own experiences.
Who's the girl who broke your heart?
Oh man, high school was a weird time.
It's crazy. I didn't know if there was a girl. I just threw that out there.
Yeah, there's,
high school.
that's where I wrote most of those songs in high school.
Mhm.
So,
Now, you can laugh at that. I had a girl that I had a crush on for 11 years. I mean, and some of the crap that I went through trying, and I was the desperate dorkly guy who just never had a shot. And that shit hangs on to you for a long time. So you can make fun of high school experiences, but it really does shape a lot of who you are and why I'm so angry and I cut myself. So I mean, it's a real thing. Not the cutting. So yes, high school.
A little emo, huh?
I did grow up in a certain era, so let my hair curl over my face, all black. So I mean, so your lyrics are mostly personal life stories, then put into song.
Yep.
All right, we'll keep it that simple, that easy. Tell you what, guys, we're going to take another quick break. We're going to have some fun here with some musical review stuff with some of you guys, some of our past guests all lined up. A couple songs for you. When we come back, we're going to finish off the show, and we will also get some music from Call Me James in the mix here on the show. Thanks for hanging out here. This is the hashtag DDP Live on Longbox.FM Studios.
Kind of prog rocky. I like that.
I did not expect that change. It started off really Latin flavorish, thinking, okay, is this a song? And all of a sudden it turns into more aggressiveness.
Well, it went from Latin to like waltz.
Very cool, very technical, awesome musicians, and it's cool when they can make it work into actual music that can transfer to just a mainstream sound.
I really like that waltzy feel.
Yeah,
that
that's what I was
3/4. That
it was kind of like a Latin feel too at the same time.
Yeah.
I like that. Tight snare rolls. Can't go wrong.
I'm gonna have to agree.
And then that high note on the vocals.
Yeah, you don't really see that with this kind of music anymore.
Exactly. It's like making it more unique, It's not just a straightforward double bass beat like always. You get a good little funk groove with it. I like that.
Yeah.
I feel like the vocals are kind of just in the background. I don't know if that's a matter of, what they were going for, or just the, the production quality they had at their hands. But I don't know, it kind of sounded like it would have been dope, like in the past. I don't know that it really fits like what's going on in music today. I think that's also a problem for a lot of local bands, because or upcoming bands in general. Like, it's so hard to figure out what fits anymore. Especially like in the rock scene or the alt rock scene. Like, it's changed so much that I think it's if you've played one style of music for so long and now you don't have like an EDM breakdown in your song, all of a sudden you're like, we don't really fit anymore.
Amoret, one of those bands doing it right now in Fresno. It sucks I still haven't caught them live. We've played shows together, but for whatever reason I haven't been there when they've played. But yeah, I like that band.
Hold into me, yeah, hold on to me. Yeah.
I actually recognize one of those people.
Those are our homies in Amoret. We love those guys.
Yeah, they were at Grizzly Fest with us too. That was really cool seeing them.
Very good set.
Yeah, some familiar faces on that one.
Yeah, that's Amoret, right?
Yes, that's
right. Yeah, no, I mean, they got that poppy dance thing down.
Definitely. That was kind of like, I want to do my impression of Night at the Roxbury.
Yeah. Well, I wish that I could have been there for the karaoke because I think I would have given some good clips.
Yeah.
I got that belly dance thing down.
Belly dance. Talk about
That's all they were missing.
I hate that band, and I never want them to play any of the events that I do ever. It was so offensive to me. I'm just kidding. That's Amoret. I like Amoret. Playing Fresh Jazz Fest, obviously. They played... I've done a couple things with them in the past. So they're good people. They're a good band, and they're good people. Like, I actually enjoy hanging out with them. So if you only listen to the first part, I hope you didn't just stop because I wasn't being mean to them. I liked them.
'Cause it's just you and
Longbox.FM studios, brought to you, of course, and always, as much as I can put it in me, Riley's Brewing. So we have the end of our show here. Usually we do a little bit of awards. We're keeping it light tonight. We got more talk than awardee. Something that happened during the break, though, and I got to give this out for a hashtag 10-second acapella. Maybe you can catch it in the credits, post-credit shot of Branden singing some deep emo. You really touched into the broken heart of the high school right there.
Oh, yeah.
I felt it. Good job. And MVP for the night, again, keeping it short and simple. Obviously, Call Me James, a band willing to drive in from Visalia for any kind of gig or some stupid interview in the studio. So props to you. Josh, you get nothing from it, though, because you live in Fresno.
Yeah.
So you don't really have to put no effort here.
Down the block. But I drive to practice every week.
Yeah. Makes up for it.
Yeah, but we're talking about tonight's show, though. So sorry, man.
Today is a different. Yesterday's done, man.
Let's do it. Let's. How do we contact you guys for all the people in the social media worlds and stuff?
Well, we're on Instagram, Twitter, where else? Snapchat, Facebook. Yeah, the big one.
He's like, what's that thing called?
Spotify, iTunes, Bandcamp, SoundCloud, YouTube. At Call Me James Band.
Google.
Yep.
And I do believe, actually, all that info is located. If you go to Longbox.FM to the artist profile, you can look up Call Me James and find everything from them. Try to make it as quick and easy for anyone to find anything. And now that I have True People Search, I'm going to put in their addresses and phone numbers and emails and everything.
You can find out where we live.
Look up that site if you want to stalk for a while. I'm going to be calling Jimmy Kimmel next because I have his number. So, now thanks, guys, for coming in, hanging out tonight. Show's coming up. Hit me. Hit me.
Hit him with your best shot.
Sorry.
We got B Riders coming up next Friday, May 19th, Bakersfield, California.
May 23rd.
May 23rd, yeah. San Luis Obispo, Frog and Peach Pub. Then we've got June 14th in East Hollywood at East Side Love.
East Side Love.
And we got June 16th at the Colony in Sacramento. And June 17th at the Cellar Door in Visalia. And then June 24th, we're going to be in Visalia again at the Lumberyard. The Source, an LGBT kind of like support group, is putting a little event on. So,
all right. And again, check you guys out, Facebook, everything. Call Me James Band, the @ there. You guys, you youngins know what I'm talking about. That's going to do it for here tonight. Stick around, post credits for maybe a little 10-second acapella that will make you cry. This is Dowdy saying for everybody here in the room, word. Been watching #DDP Live on Longbox.FM. The opinions expressed on #DDP Live aren't necessarily those of staff, management, or sponsors of Longbox.FM. If you have been offended in any way during this presentation, you should have turned it off long ago. #DDP Live is a presentation of Longbox.FM.
You beatbox.
I can't believe what she said to me.
Wow. Do not sound like that.
You ripped my heart out and screamed.
I'm going to rip your heart out. Literally. Hey, I was playing the bass yesterday.
Oh, what? We'll trade.
Where's your part, bro? You messed up again.
No, that was it.
The second acapella jam that you ruined. No, I'm just kidding.
Is that a new song?
It is, dude. I just made up a new bass line for you. Or you can go lower. Go add something.
Oh, dude.
Add something.
I'm really impressed by Brendan's beatbox.
Yeah, he's better than me. Pretty good.
Saying boots and cats.
Boots and pants.
Boots and pants.
And pants and boots and pants and boots and pants.
That's the first drum beat most of the kids learn how to play.
I'm so tired of sleeping around town, trying to find a place to lay my head. unplug the telephone cord. I need to say something. I know we're fighting for the chance to have our way, a love that's soaked in blood. The scars have yet to fade with every waking morn. The words reduced to mud.